All right, I don't have a fancy introduction, so we'll just jump into it here. I want to talk about gear today. I don't normally talk about gear online. There's lots of people who do, people who know more than I do, but I'll happily talk your ear off about gear in person with a beer. The reason I want to talk about gear though is I am contemplating a change. It's not a big change, but it's something worth talking about anyways. I have been shooting digital cameras or digital interchangeable lens cameras for a little over 10 years. My first one was an Olympus E510, and then I got an Olympus EM1, and then an EM5, and now an EM1 Mark II. Every camera I've owned has been an Olympus. It's not to say I haven't played with everyone else. I've played with Canons, I've played with Nikons, Sonys, Pentax. They're all good cameras in their own right. But the Olympus works really well for me. I just like the way the cameras work, and I really like my lens selection. The Micro Four Thirds ecosystem is fantastic, especially since it is an ecosystem. Olympus aren't the only guys making lenses here. You can get some really cool other top tier lenses, and Panasonic in particular makes Panasonic Leica lenses. They're fabulous. I use them all the time. I'm quite happy with them. So the problem is Micro Four Thirds is never as good in low light as a same generation full frame camera, and it's never as good at blurring out the background as a full frame camera. That's just physics. It's unfortunate, but it is. I am sticking with Micro Four Thirds, but I'm trying Panasonic. So what happened is I photographed Rebel Fest music concert. Lots of photos on the Instagram there if you want to see those. Anyways, I really found that at the concert, the Mark II's auto tracking or autofocus tracking was awesome. On a big stage, performers are bouncing back and forth and doing all sorts of stuff, and the better autofocus was fabulous. It made a difference. So I started thinking, well, I'm shooting a lot more concerts these days, and I kind of want a second of the, second Mark II. I can't afford a second Mark II. I mean, they're over $2,000, and there's very few of them used. And the used ones are still almost the price of new. You might as well buy new right now. So with that in mind, I started looking at other options. And the first generation, or not just the first generation, the very first 20 megapixel Micro Four Thirds camera is the Panasonic GX8. It's no longer available in Canada, unfortunately. It's a rangefinder style, which is pretty cool. But it's got pretty good autofocus tracking. Or so I'm told by people I trust. It should, in theory, also have better low light performance than my EM1 Mark I. There's some stuff on the internet that says it might not actually, but only one way to find out. So because they're discontinued in Canada, they're pretty cheap used. I mean, they're about half the price they were new. So with that in mind, $800 later, I have one. Basically, I'm going to use it for the next couple of months and find out if I like it better than my Mark I as my second body. And if I do, I will sell the Mark I. If I don't, I'll sell this. Right away, it's not ideal having two cameras from two different manufacturers. I've got software that I can load on my phone to transfer files off my Olympus. Yeah, well, now I need to have the Panasonic software as well. There's different color science between the two, so the images are going to look a little different. The colors aren't going to be quite the same. So I'm going to have to spend some more time in post-processing. It is what it is. The controls on the back of the camera are different, and the way they feel, the buttons don't feel as good. They're flush mounted, they're harder to find. I've been using Olympus cameras for 10 or 11 years now. I know my way around Olympus camera. It's ingrained in me. And this one's different. Now, it's not to say I can't learn, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see if I like it more or not. So, with that, I'm just going to leave you hanging here because, well, I don't have anything really I can say. I mean, what I can tell you is I don't like the buttons as much as I like the Olympus buttons. I do like the viewfinder. The viewfinder in here is fabulous. And I like the form factor. I like the rangefinder style. I'm looking forward to playing with it, and we'll see what happens in a couple months. I will leave an update when I figure things out. Cheers, guys.